Sonic Crossworlds has blasted its way to the top, and here is everything you need to know about the game. It's simply one of the best games Sega has made, ever. It's got amazing music, it's so smooth and fun to play, and it's got a lot of aspects that keeps communities happy. Sonic has a 30-year-long history for its racing games. Some were unique and innovative, changing the recipe of a kart racer. Some were just a plain kart racer, but still a good kart racer. But there was one thing where all of them had in common. They all lived in the shadow of Mario Kart. Sonic was never supposed to be a contender for Mario Kart. To be honest, it never tried to be. All it ever needed to do was show up with a consistent fun title for its own fans' sake. Little did anybody expect Nintendo to fumble Mario Kart World so badly that Sonic took the title of kart racing champion. But this brought the Sega vs Nintendo rivalry back to life. Crossworlds didn't try to be bigger or compete with Mario Kart. When World expanded and tried to reinvent itself, Crossworlds stuck true to the classic condensed formula and doubled down on creating a quality substance. Whilst taking inspiration from its past titles, the customization of Team Sonic Racing and the transformative racing style of cars, boats and planes from All Stars Transformed, Sonic didn't take this champion title because of Mario Kart's fall. Sonic deserves this crown, and here you'll discover everything you need to know about Sonic Crossworlds. For way too long, Sonic focuses on style over substance, more so when it comes to Sonic Racing. It's just part of that cool Sonic charm and most would agree. However, Crossworlds has struck that golden balance between the two. Let me tell you what Sonic Crossworlds does best, starting with its style. Sonic has undergone a lot of presentation and changes throughout its history, with many designs and artists producing their own twist on the blue blur, which has made the fanbase fight itself so many times over, but here it feels like it's encompassing it all. Sega has taken inspiration on a lot of its previous representations of Sonic in a lot of its trailers and marketing. The animation trailers are sleek and bold, resembling the 90s art for Sonic Adventure 2 but brought to life through the animation. And the primary character models are the most advanced and clear 3D renders we've had, and a lot of these characters have been given new renders for the first time in years. Another important part of the artistic design is the maps chosen. Some are original tracks, but many are based on previous locations within the Sonic universe. The maps are split into two different categories. There are 24 regular maps before counting any potential DLC courses, and 15 Crossworld maps. These are the maps that are randomized every single match, meaning there are 39 different maps created for the base game, also meaning in every match you play, there is a 6.66% chance or 1 out of 15 chance you get a specific map. Now it's really setting in how different this game is from the rest of the genre. It's reimagined the core formula of kart races while sticking close to what made it so good in the first place. I won't list all 39 maps, but a lot of them are callbacks to previous Sonic titles. A lot of these callbacks are updated and tweaked to fit into this new fast-paced racing style, and it looks outstanding, honestly. Some of these maps are genuinely pretty and interactable too, making the experience even more chaotic. Sonic's long history has always been matched with a huge music range, and it always bangs every single time, but this time, it's leading deeper into an EDM kind of style. But it includes new spins on classic tracks and character themes. The racing feels complete with an epic song to back it up, and each game would include different songs because of the map changes. The theme song of Sonic Crossworlds was sung by James Bourne from the band Busted. Personally, Crush 40 would have banged again, but I'm not complaining with the choice here. The presentation was top notch and it appeals to old and new fans alike. You can unlock music tracks from all the past Sonic titles in the Time Trials mode. Completing the trials can give you new music that you can set to play during races. You can set different playlists that can be randomized on each lap of the race you're on. It just adds a little bit more customizable depth. In the past Sonic racing games, there's been very little customization to vehicles. In All Stars and Transformed, it would only affect the stats, not cosmetically. In a sense, this was nice because each character had an individual personality that was represented in their own stylish vehicle, even if some of them were a bit weird. Crossworlds takes inspiration more from Team Sonic Racing, allowing the player to fully customize the vehicle and unlock more parts with tickets earned. You can change the front and back of the car as well as all colors and decals. Some of these decals are themed by different in-game maps and characters, and there's real collabs with 16 companies like Beyblade and Samsung. It's really random, I know, but it acts like a racing sponsor because you'd see them in real life anyway, so it just adds a little sense of realism. There's 5 types of vehicles that correspond to its appearance and stat group: speed, boost, power, acceleration, and handling. The vehicles make a bigger difference to the actual movement of the game than the characters do, and the characters are probably the coolest part of the game. I wish it included more Sega influence like it did in previous titles, but the roster expands larger than ever before. The base game of Crossworlds is so much larger than any of the previous Sonic games we've ever had. You've got the main Sonic cast you would expect, and some of the lesser known fan favourites too. All of Team Chaotix, there's Silver, there's Blaze, Sage, Zaz, Omega, Rouge, Big the Cat, also the characters from Sonic Riders, and any Cream haters can expect me in their front door tonight. You do not diss Cream, she did nothing wrong, she's only a baby. Every character also has a friendship level that you can upgrade with Dodonpa tickets. When you level up these characters, you unlock new decals and customizable rewards that's based on them as well. It's just a mini reward and progression system. We can't even begin to go on without mentioning the Season Pass. The hype surrounding this game's future is real when they have such eye-catching crossovers. There's two main appeals to the live service, the Free Pass and the Season Pass. Unlike most games, the Free Pass actually provides more content than the paid Season Pass does. The Free Pass so far includes Hatsune Miku, Joker and Ichiban, but there is confirmed to be a minimum of 9 future characters added. Knights has a render on the back of the box, so I expect her to be added in the game. And most likely, the Free Pass will consist of Sega-owned titles. I would love to have Opa Opa beat Samba de Amigos, Shenmue, and Knights. Bayonetta would be a really awesome potential collab. Sega still owns the rights to Bayonetta 1, so it is possible. The Free Pass is really appealing in itself, but the Season Pass has some more funky crossovers, some lesser known ones. For example, so far confirmed are multiple characters from Ninja Turtles and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Although it's currently unknown who from these series will be added to the game, it's still really cool. There are some characters confirmed, like SpongeBob and Patrick, as well as Steve, Alex and a Creeper from Minecraft. There's Mega Man, Proto Man and finally Pac-Man and the Ghosts, with potentially so much more in the future. It's shaping up to be a strong future for Sega. With more announcements like this, it could become as hype as Super Smash Bros. DLC. Most of these characters also come with their own respective maps, which we'll see in full in the near future. We're literally going to be racing Sonic around Bikini Bottom. Nobody expected this. It's shaping up to look so fun, and let me tell you why Crossworlds is so fun. It's quick, it's intense, and in one word, it's electric. This game composes what Sonic really is. It gives you that rush when you speed through the race and punishes you with every little knock slowing you down, like every knock. Exactly what every Sonic game tries to achieve. You get rewarded for accurate, fast-paced gameplay, but the moment you make a mistake, you're back to square one. The structure itself feels electric. Every game is a new experience. Each lap is a choice, not a repeat. Whoever's in first place on every lap gets to punch through a portal and decide where the rest of the race is going, and everyone has to follow. You're not circling the same track, you're steering the entire lobby into a new world, causing unprecedented chaos. This sounds like a gimmick from afar, but in motion it just clicks, it just works. Which also offers a lot of variety in its customization. Since you never know what's going to happen, it can be hard to predict what vehicle or which gadgets will be best off for that lap. This is fused very well with its rival system. Right off the bat, the game tells you who your rival is, and they chat shit to each other before the race, immediately adding stakes to the game, giving it that extra layer of depth and incentive. It's small, but it changes how your brain views every action. At this point, it's already crazy fast paced. When you come across frenzy zones, that drives it up even higher. Frenzy zones take place in the Crossworld map of lap 2, but it can only sometimes happen where everything is a boost frenzy. You either have boost pads scattered everywhere or your drift boosts are multiplied in speed. It makes it almost uncontrollable, and a simple mistake can take you to last place immediately. Number 2, the gadgets actually matter. Before the game, you can begin with a loadout of gadgets tailored to your needs. Do you prioritize speed or tailored into acceleration and trick boosts? It forces each player's personality into the game. The community is already discovering optimal gadgets for each track and creates depth to the system that keeps players intrigued and ultimately keeps players. The gadgets are also ran side by side with the items. You can begin races with items in your gadget loadout like boosts, portal rings or monster truck for example, but the items that you can pick up in the game are just crazy. Things can turn around and get intense so quickly, and it can change the flow of the race quicker than you can react. Number 3, it's experienced player friendly and newcomer friendly. Its depth allows for optimal gameplay like we've discussed, and navigating each race's quick changes can come across as a sensory overload sometimes, but it is also balanced. It pairs that loud personality with an easy to navigate system and allows breathing room for new players to learn. You get alerts so you know when to use a defensive item. Indicators tell you when to perfect drift timing and boosts at the start of the race. All maps come with guardrails so new players aren't overwhelmed and can fall off, but also suddenly drops those rails at random moments in the maps to keep you on edge, to keep you at the top of your game. You get punished hard, which is the balance with speed. Even grinding against the rails drops coins, constantly reminding you speed is everything. A tiny mistake will set you back. Number 4, the game modes. Now, the game modes are really challenging, like all of them. There are 4 speeds that essentially means difficulty. The faster means harder to control and also harder to beat enemies. The fastest and most fun and chaotic is supersonic speed difficulty. You can only unlock this speed if you successfully win all 7 base Grand Prix on Sonic Speed mode. Each Grand Prix has 3 maps and the 4th race includes a lap on each map, constantly changing the scope of the race. Sonic Speed is the basis for all online modes and causes absolute chaos already. With the nature of Crossworlds chaos, it's really difficult to win these Grand Prix easily, especially with the rival system. The rival isn't just another opponent, the rival is always the pack leader, always challenging you and one-upping you, making this feel like a real rival because it's a constant battle. It's like you're actually sitting next to your friend and you're both in a battle for first place. The trash talking at the beginning of the race just makes it all the more satisfying when you win. Every character is a potential rival, and when you defeat them all, you unlock Supersonic. Supersonic is essentially a fun gimmick character you can use for Grand Prix. There isn't much use for it, it's just a special character, not sure why it's restricted to Grand Prix only. Oh wait, yeah I do know, it's because he's a racing cheat code. He's got really good stats and nothing can hurt him. He is immune to every single item in the game. It's fitting really. After all 7 Grand Prix are complete, you've unlocked the full force of Sonic Racing, Supersonic Speed, where you can test your skills on the Grand Prix and other modes. The other modes being Race Park, a great centre for local multiplayer. It features 6 game modes that adds extra zazz to the formula. You can play in teams of 4 and your points can tally up, similar to Team Sonic Racing. This can also be mixed with tap games where you gotta bash into your teammates to fill up a bar and enter a boosted state. The same applies for collecting coins. You can have regular quick match or ramp it up using heavy hitting items only. Nice to see in 2025 that local multiplayer is being prioritised. In Race Park, the rival system gets a bit deeper, expanding it into a team rival system so up to 4 local friends can work together in these fun game modes to defeat the rivals. There's 7 rival teams in total and defeating each of them give you secret vehicles. Race Park is also just pretty cool in single player, but it's not the best single player mode, which takes us over to the time trials. Now I do have severe PTSD from Sonic time trials. On paper they are very basic, you complete the laps as quickly as you can, but these time restrictions can be really hard to beat. Granted, not as hard as Sonic Racing Transformed, that game required near optimal speedrun strats just to get the highest rank. It is the hardest platinum I've ever achieved, and I did it without using the glitch to cut off some of the game. It's rated 9 out of 10 on difficulty scale when you do decide to use the glitch. I'm very thankful Sonic Racing Crossworlds is still extremely difficult, but not near impossible like its predecessor was. A lot of Crossworlds' appeal is its classic racer modes. And then you've got the online multiplayer, which is the most chaotic experience that the game offers, and finally, the crossplay. In this generation of gaming, crossplay is essentially everything. Mario Kart's ecosystem has always been restricted to what Nintendo allows on their servers, and they make sure nobody tries to expand. Nobody. But right off the bat, even in open beta, Crossworlds launched with cross-platform between PC, PlayStation, Xbox and Switch. Lobbies will always be alive and every match feels alive, intense, unpredictable and full of bold personality. Having your entire friend group being able to play together with nobody missing out keeps the servers alive. You'll always find a game with so many platforms available. And now it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, the competition. No, not Garfield Kart, I mean the competition for Sonic for over 30 years. Mario Kart. Mario Kart had a 30-year lead in the kart racing industry. Time and time again, it came out on top, reinventing the genre, leaving any IP with a speck of popularity copying its recipe. But when the sequel of Mario Kart 8, which sold 75 million copies, was released along with the Switch 2, Nintendo was banking on it being a bestseller instantly. But only weeks later, the unthinkable happened and lobbies just disappeared. Players full-on quit the game. Nintendo has always led the path of the genre, and with Mario Kart World, they tried to expand the formula with an open world basis, and there's intermission tracks where instead of repeating the same track 3 times, you kind of travel to the other track, and you get to see the terrain slowly change into that track's theme. The problem is that it was universally received as boring. This is the first time in Nintendo's 30-year reign where they just fumbled. With the £70 price tag and controversial Switch 2 prices, Nintendo convinced everyone Mario Kart World is a must-have game that'll last as long as Mario Kart 8 did, which only made that blow to fans even more disappointing, which left a wide open gap for its longtime competitor, Sonic the Hedgehog. Mario Kart's downfall cannot be overlooked when discussing the marketing tactics and success of Sonic Crossworlds. It's directly and indirectly involved. Sega even released a commercial openly shitting on Mario Kart World, hyping up their own game, which is very dangerous considering Nintendo's track record for lawsuits, but Sonic Racing was never supposed to be a contender to Mario Kart. It's always a side project of Sega to remind people, hey look, here's our version, go play that if you want to. And most of the time they succeeded in creating its own racing identity, with its own dedicated community over the years. I've been a part of it for so long now, I absolutely love the Sonic racing community, but it's never been on such a large scale until now. In the past, Sonic Transformed was Sega's biggest racing success, but it was still overshadowed by Mario Kart. But not this time. When Crossworlds Open Beta dropped right as Mario Kart fans got restless and decided to quit the game, that this top spot was filled immediately by Sonic, and its open beta was a lot of fun, and free. I was genuinely very skeptical to pre-order Sonic Crossworlds after the Mario Kart fiasco, but the open beta convinced myself and many others on this game's substance to provide. Sonic Racing in the past usually prioritizes style over substance in many cases, but here they struck that perfect balance. The Twitch views were staggeringly high and influencers outright said that they had more fun with Sonic compared to Mario. This sort of influence can have a large involvement in general popularity of the game. Sega went far with the marketing for Sonic Racing, releasing epic animation trailers and extra promo videos to gain attraction. Sometimes you can tell how a company cares about its product when it tries this hard to get its product recognized. It's not about more marketing, it's about quality marketing. Nintendo was arrogant. They expected Mario Kart to be an instant bestseller, and they didn't provide with a quality game. But when they caught on that people wasn't enjoying Mario Kart, they got hungry. They doubled down that marketing, they doubled down on the open beta, the crossovers, the reveals, the trailers, everything. The console wars died a long time ago, so this direct rivalry between Sega and Nintendo feels unnatural. Sega has wanted Sonic to be on par with Mario long after the console wars died. When critics and fandoms come together to root for Sonic, it feels alien. Sonic isn't supposed to win, Sonic was never supposed to win, but it fought anyway. When you think about it, it feels inevitable. Nintendo gave us a £70 disappointment, released with a £450 console that's required to play. Sega gave us a fun, completely free open beta, which convinced everyone to buy the complete version, which had a £50 price tag on all platforms, even the PS4. The PS4's 12 years old now. Let that sink in. When one company treats you like an ATM and the other treats you as fans, which would you choose? Everyone saw that Nintendo cared more about using Mario Kart as a stand to boost the Switch 2 sales, and they succeeded, but all Sega cared about was performing for themselves, creating a product that wasn't supposed to dethrone Mario, but show up with something that respects players' time, and ultimately, players' money. Even without Mario Kart's downfall, Sonic Crossworlds is still a solid performing game with so much to boast about. For 30 years, Sonic Racing was just alive, existing in its own little corner of the world, and recently its own little corner of the internet, but not bothering anybody. But now, it's winning.